Hi everyone, it's Holly and I'm here with another video that's all centered around romance. Since I said for February I wanted to really focus on romance on this channel since it's like Valentine's Day and the month of love and everything, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity. So in this video I want to recommend some books from my favorite genre of romance, and that is historicals. I'm definitely a historical girl at heart, especially English set historicals. I do not read a ton of American set, especially like westerns, and I don't typically find myself drawn to stories set abroad. Like a lot of times I'll avoid them. So like even books with English characters but they take place in other countries, or they're traveling books. I don't know why, it's weird that I'm not into that. Or I just don't find myself picking those up. But if you have suggestions for me, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And the one thing I have been wanting to try for a long time is reading a Beverly Jenkins book. I think I've talked about this before, about how I'm always afraid to pick up her books because I feel like even if they end happily, which I'm sure they do, there's so much other like historical context surrounding her characters, since they're like African American historicals, that I just don't understand how I could be happy for them, because I'd be like, oh, but all this other horrible stuff is happening. But I never know where to start with her. So, and she has so many books, and she seems like an amazing lady, and I know people love her books. So if you've read her books and have a suggestion of a place to start, please let me know down in the comments so I can check her out. And I will link my first historical recommendations video down in the description box below. I think I did it about 1.5 years ago. So first I want to recommend, I do believe I recommended Eloisa James before. I still do recommend her, but I did really quick want to recommend one of her newest books, which is My American Duchess. This is a new release for her, and it's supposed to be a standalone historical. I just read this. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really, really liked it. I think if maybe you're trying to get into romance, or maybe you read like American set and English set is something that you're a little like apprehensive about, this might be something to help carry you over. Or if maybe you're a contemporary reader, you might want to give this a shot, because Mary, the heroine, is kind of a contemporary-ish girl. Like, she's very independent. She's definitely that American like crazy lady. Like so I do definitely recommend this. It was very fun, and it has connections to her other books. Like, there's other characters, so if you've read her other stuff like The Desperate Duchess and stuff, I think you'll find some things in here cute. The next one I want to recommend is weird for me to recommend because I gave it 3 stars, but that is A Lady Awakened by Cecilia Grant. I know people really, really love this. I enjoyed it, but it was not quite my cup of tea. The reason I wanted to include it is because, to me, this read a lot like an Austen novel. Like, obviously it has sexual content and stuff, which Austen wouldn't have done, but just the style of writing that Cecilia Grant has, it just feels more classical to me, which I did like. I thought it was very beautiful. So I figured maybe if you were trying to get into historicals or something, you might want to give this a shot. And it's about a woman who's recently widowed, and the man that's going to be inheriting her husband's like land and stuff is supposed to be like a complete ass. And so she ends up asking her neighbor to like sleep with her so she can get pregnant and say that it's her dead husband's child, so that that man can't take over. And then they kind of build this relationship, and they end up helping each other, and it is a very nice story. It just was not quite for me, but it is a very good book, and I think if maybe you were trying to come from classics maybe into romance, this might be a good gateway book for you. I cannot remember if I mentioned her or not, but that is Sarah MacLean. I love her. I have not read her, what is it called? The ones that's like 9 Rules to be Adored When Landing a Lord, like those. I've not read those in a long time, so I can't really comment on them anymore. But her Fallen Angels books are very good. It's a 4-book series. And then she has a newer series coming out. This is the first one. It came out at the end of December, Scandal and Scoundrels. Sarah MacLean just writes really solid romance with great characters, great like atmosphere and world building, and a lot like My American Duchess. The heroine in this story, I think I said in my written review that she was like a 21st century girl living in a historical world. She's very independent, very strong-minded, but there's definitely ramifications for those actions, which I kind of like. Like, yes, I like that she does things that like I want her to do, but in the world she lives in, there's going to be consequences for that. This is a very cute story. It's definitely like an antagonistic-y romance. I definitely recommend Sarah MacLean. She's amazing. Please check her out if you have not. And this might be a good place to start. And then one of my like newer favorites is Lorraine Heath. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know about her for so long, and I've read so many of her books now. She's amazing. These are two of my favorites, In Bed with the Devil and Falling into Bed with the Duke. This is one of her newer books, and she has so many series, so many of them are connected. I personally really like that when the authors like kind of connect their worlds. She has a whole series that kind of feels a little bit like Oliver. It feels like it is. Like, I'm sorry, but like clearly we're, so you have these like street urchin kind of characters who are brought up in the world and then have to deal with that. I'm definitely a fan of socioeconomic differences stories, and so that really explores that. And then she continues on through that. So like Falling in Bed with a Duke is about a kid from one of those relationships, and then there's another series that follows some of those children as well. Her stories are just so beautiful and moving. She deals a lot with, I never know how to describe this, but like physical and mental trauma, and not in like a like crazy way, but she has scarred characters and people who have secrets, but like not like deep, dark, evil, creepy secrets, but just like secrets and things that have strongly affected them. I think she is amazing. I definitely suggest, if you're going to read her, starting with the Lost Lords of Pembroke trilogy, or the, I can never remember which one it is called, but the one that follows like the Oliver characters. I will write the title, the series name right here, because she has some series that have similar titles, so it's hard. And last, this one feels weird to recommend because I haven't read them in a long time, but I've been wanting to reread them, and that is Tessa Dare. I know she's a favorite for people, and I've read a lot of her stuff, but my favorite is probably her Spindle Cove series. It's fun. It's, if you're looking for something that's kind of out of the ballroom, small town historical, this is more of your kind of thing. This is the second book, I believe, A Week to Be Wicked. This is kind of a marriage of convenience confinement story, but it's a really cute story with some strong heroines, some strong sequel bait, which I will be discussing sequel bait later this month, or at least that's my plan. It's been a long time since I've read these, so it's hard for me to like go into real detail, but I remember really enjoying them, and I like a good ballroom set historical, but it is nice to get away from the ballroom every once in a while. Those are my historical recommendations. Words are hard. If you have any recommendations for me, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!